What up, gamers? You're now in tune to another session of Ponder and Win. I'm the East Wind, and in today's session I want to talk about the world of Final Fantasy not being compatible with the PSTV. And this is kind of like a part 1 of 2. This session will actually lead to the next session, which is dealing with the quote failure of the PS Vita, which ties into the PSTV because they are actually one and the same. That being said, I want to start off this session with a PS blog that was set up prior to the official release of World of Final Fantasy, in which a PSTV owner like myself asked the question of, will World of Final Fantasy be compatible with the PSTV? To which a Square Enix representative replied with, we cannot confirm this right now, or we cannot confirm this as of yet. I'm sorry. The problem with that response is the PSTV owner asked a yes or no question. The Square Enix representative responded with this vague response. I'm 100% certain that that is what Square Enix told all their representatives to respond with, even though other PSTV owners asked Square Enix directly and they were never given an answer. So I'm surprised that that was what was put on the PS blog. A simple yes or no. They made it more complicated than it had to be. So with that being said, the question is, why is it not compatible? Like Dragon Quest Builders, which I received a notification that it wasn't compatible. So originally I was going to do a session about that and say that it foreshadowed that World of Final Fantasy would not be compatible. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. I gave Square Enix the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe the game is heavy on touch inputs, in which case I would be like, alright, okay, cool. Like, I see why it's not compatible. Because for this example, I will use Uppers, which, if you're not familiar with it, it is a beat 'em up developed by the same developers of Kenkai Bancho from the PSP era. It's just that they've sped up the combat. That is the greatest improvement to this game. But it's a beat 'em up, like I said, and it has a physical flirting simulation that's basically a part of the game. You know, you get female fans and whatever. Which, I'm not a fan of that type of simulation thing. Like, that's not for me, man. Just let me play the game. But to demonstrate the touch emulation of the PSTV, this is the game I would use. So clearly you see here that I'm able to do the front touchscreen and the rear panel, which is the reddish orange glove, you know, that you see on the screen. And I'm able to twirl the girl around, you know, move her skirt, pick it up. So this proves that touch emulation on the PSTV works 100%. It's just that the developers have to tailor it to the PSTV for whatever reason. I don't know. And then you couple that with the fact that Uppers is a Vita exclusive game. They don't have to do any other things to it. So, you know, granted. But Dragon Quest Builders it doesn't use any touch functionality whatsoever, as you can clearly see on his PSN description page or details page, however you want to look at it. The same is true of World of Final Fantasy. And for Dragon Quest Builders, looking at actual gameplay, shout out to latest Vita games, because that's whose walkthrough I watched of the demo. Not once did he say you have to use touchscreen inputs, or did I see touchscreen inputs used. So if neither game is touch heavy, why aren't they compatible with the PSTV? And this leads to the discussion. On one hand, you have some gamers saying that it costs more to publish a Vita cartridge than it does a PS4 disc. And originally I was like, that's crazy. But then after I thought about it for a minute, it became a 50-50 divide. There's actually a 50% chance that that's true. Since Sony is the sole creator of those Vita cartridges, they could charge a publisher more money to publish those than they do PS4 discs. Which leads to the second half of that conversation, which is both Square Enix and Sony do not want the Vita version to outsell the PS4 version, which is ignorant on both of their parts, especially Square Enix. Once again, it's called maximizing your profit. All available active platforms should receive the game. On my part, I was gonna get both Dragon Quest Builders and World of Final Fantasy. That's $80 that Square Enix lost. So for all PSTV owners, whether they were gonna buy both or one, that's a $40 to $80 loss of sales. Regardless how you look at it. People will say PSTV is a dead device. Well, if you say the PSTV is a dead device, you have no comprehension, because the PSTV, like I said, is one and the same with Vita. As long as Vita is getting games, the PSTV will live. The PSTV is living because the Vita is getting games. Once the Vita stops getting games, then the PSTV will be dead. And I can prove this real quick before I go ahead and wrap this up. So, in Square Enix case, they haven't given a reason why Dragon Quest Builders and World of Final Fantasy is not compatible with the PSTV. And Sony hasn't given one either. But if you dig deep enough, you'll find out certain things. And the fact of the matter is that Sony has to approve Vita games to be compatible with the PSTV, which is trash. If the game does not use touch functionality throughout the entire game, and it's just like a regular console game, which is what Sony's model was for the Vita, console games in a handheld medium, to paraphrase. Both Dragon Quest Builders and World of Final Fantasy console style games with just directional pad and face buttons. There's no reason it should not be compatible with the PSTV. So to prove my point and to further emphasize that for whatever reason the developer / publisher sets in motion how a Vita game that uses some touch functionality interacts with the PSTV. I will use Dragon Quest Heroes 2. And, you know, for Dragon Quest fans, before you get super excited, let me just state this, that yes, I am playing Dragon Quest Heroes 2 on the PSTV, but it's the demo. I'm playing the Dragon Quest Heroes 2 demo on the PSTV. But there is a hiccup, if you will, in this demonstration. And it revolves around touch functionality. So the first part, yeah, you can play that no problem. Unless they patched it, you know, maybe a Sony exec or a Square Enix rep or whatever comes across this and they put that barrier up so you can't even play it at all. My point is, this is a Square Enix game that is playable on the PSTV, or at least the demo. Where the hiccup comes in is during the tutorial after the opening sequence, in which it's a dodge, it's a roll and dodge technique that you're required to do to move on to the next technique. And I was unable to do it. I don't know, maybe somebody else that has a PSTV was able to do it, but I wasn't. So thus I will call it a hiccup. That in comparison to uppers, in which I showed you that touchscreen functionality 100% works on the PSTV. Not to stay on Dragon Quest Heroes 2, moving on to some Falcom games. Tokyo Xanadu, compatible. YS Celceta, compatible. Bandai Namco's Summoner Night 6, compatible. And I read an article somewhere that stated that it's getting localized. Hopefully, once it's localized, it remains compatible with the PSTV. And for the fact One Piece Burning Blood was compatible, I have high hopes that it will be. YS8, and this is by far, I mean, this is my opinion, but this YS8 by far is one of the most incredible Vita games I have played. I don't even know what genre really to classify it as. If, you know, for fans of Phantasy Star Online 2, since they're not, you know, Sega's not bringing that over, this is a great substitute. The only thing is you can't create your own character, but it plays, you know, how you move about the world or whatever. It pretty much plays the exact same way. So yeah, and this is my thing, man, for real. I'm not even gonna bother with Square Enix and saying like, please make World of Final Fantasy compatible, make Dragon Quest Builders compatible with the PSTV. That's just $80 they lost. My thing is, if you're a PSTV owner like me, this is who this session is directed to. Give your money to Falcom or Bandai Namco, people that's actually supporting the PSTV. People can say whatever they want, like the PST, nobody wants to play handheld. That's the thing. What did Sony say about the Vita? They wanted to bring console games to the handheld market. Thus, these games like Freedom Wars, Gravity Rush. Look at Gravity Rush 2. It's on PS4. These games were meant to be on consoles. When it comes to the PSTV, you could say that Sony basically guaranteed that Vita games, if nothing else, will be compatible with the device. So here you have World of Final Fantasy that's not compatible whatsoever. And they went as far as to emphasize this on World of Final Fantasy's PSN description page, stating that it is not compatible with the PSTV. The first, out of all the Vita games that's ever been, this is the first time they've made that statement for a Vita game. So essentially, one could raise the claim that it was false advertising. So yeah, man, give your money to the companies like Falcom and Bandai Namco who are supporting the PSTV by allowing their games to be compatible. Square Enix is on his last leg, literally. World of Final Fantasy, they could have netted some revenue with it. Dragon Quest Builders too. They're putting everything on Final Fantasy 15. And, you know, it is what it is, man. So that being said, as always, thanks for listening. Peace.